Hello, and welcome to the Filmi Ladies podcast, in which we enjoy screaming into the abyss and making questionable choices for our mental health. Watching this movie for this episode was my idea, and I clearly need some sort of intervention because I watched Badlapur for our Varun Dhawan episode in the morning, and then I followed up by watching Kartavya in the evening. So clearly, I need an intervention. Beth, I don't know what you're doing. Why are you not intervening? So, in case you guys haven't guessed, this episode is about Kartavya. It is a Netflix movie starring Filmi Ladies' favorite Saif Ali Khan. It is produced by Filmi Ladies' favorite Red Chillies Entertainment, and it is written and directed by someone called Pulkit, whom I have absolutely no idea who that is. It does co-star Rasika Dukal, and this movie I would categorize as a thriller set in the hinterland of Haryana. Some very, very cheerful, happy, and jolly themes are explored in this movie, such as honor killing, caste system, unholy godmen, children being trafficked in some form or the other. So yeah, just a very light-hearted movie and a very light-hearted episode. Now, because this is a thriller, we will try as much as we can to stay spoiler-free, but I fear that at some point we're going to have to dig a little deep and get into spoilers, but we will give you a little bit of a warning before we do that. So you can pause and watch this episode after you've seen the film, if we can convince you to watch this film. So I'm going to start off by asking Beth to give us a nice spoiler-free synopsis of this very charming film.
Okay, we'll take all the ingredients that Pitu has named
Mm.
and swirl them about a bit. And I was about to say the spoon that's doing the swirling is Saif Ali
Mm.
Khan as a police officer. That's not right. He's not the swirler,
Mm.
but he's the consumer of the swirled
Is
item.
he huffing?
Yeah, I'll stop with this
He's
analogy.
like huffing the vapors, maybe.
Yeah, so he's a police inspector, and he is tasked with protecting a journalist who comes to town. And as he and his colleagues are escorting her to, I assume, her hotel or something, she is murdered in cold blood on the street. It is the middle of the night. I mean, it's dark out, so there's not many people around, but it is wide open, middle of the street. So he and his kind of deputy Sanjay Mishra, who is amazing in this film, uh, start investigating, and they soon run afoul of this very, very sketchorama guru and an equally untrustworthy seeming commander of the police. Seth's home life is also difficult because his much younger brother. Seth is supposed to be 40 in this movie.
Yeah.
They say so, and you're like, no, no. He's just not 40. And that's okay. I also am not 40. But his much younger brother has run off with a neighboring girl of a different caste, and everybody is mad about it, including Seth, who's not super keen on this. So all these different things are happening at the same time, and this is an extremely depressing movie. And it has we talk a lot about bad parenting on this podcast. Neither of us are parents, but we can call out some bad parenting when we see it of the filmy variety. This is extremely bad parenting.
Yes.
Beth's dad in this is even worse than um, Fawad and Siddharth's mom in Kapoor and Sons, who is our kind of most recent contender for worst parent. This is an exceptionally horrible man, and all sorts of stuff happens because of him and people like him. This is in some ways a movie about parenting. It is about how you
Mm.
raise, and they're particularly
Yes.
talking about boys because there is a teenage boy connected to some of the crimes they investigate. And Seth also has a son, and speaks to his father about what you model to my son is unacceptable to me. And somehow Seth and his brother have kind of escaped at least quite a bit of the influence of their father to kind of make a somewhat different path, although not too different for Seth because he's still living at home with his dad and things like that, and his wife and his son. So anyway, there's a lot of parenting going on here. And as I was watching this film, I just thought, why did Gauri Khan want to produce this film? And maybe the parenting issue speaks to her in a way, and having had a son in the spotlight not too distant past for bad reasons that were really not their fault. maybe that's kind of what I came away with, is like, is that the message here? And there are things I could tell you about plot, but I won't yet because of spoilerness. And I think we can talk about this film in terms of its message about parenting and a few
Mm.
other things without being too spoilery. But again, if you are very concerned about spoilers, you might step out now, and we'll try to give more imminent warnings as we
Right.
delve further in. It's dark, it's gritty. A lot of it happens at night. It's winter because people are wearing sweaters. Um, this is a horrible place you don't want to live.
Yeah.
And we were watching simultaneously, although I was a few minutes ahead of Pitu in the movie. And I just texted at one point, I'm like, this whole podcast will be me screaming.
Yeah.
This movie is so upsetting to me. Um,
I was 15 minutes behind Beth.
yeah.
And at one point, she sent me an all caps where she said, I am so worried. And I was like, okay. And then I got to that point and I was like, oh, I see why she was worried. I am so worried.
And we were right to be worried. And I won't say what I was worried about, but there was a moment where I'm like, I don't trust this person, and
Yes.
I was correct. And then the more it goes on, you're like, oh, I don't trust anyone in this movie, and I'm not even sure I trust Seth as
Yeah.
the central figure. Um, oh, this is a wretched situation this person finds himself in, and some of the situation is new, and some of it is ongoing. So we kind of
Mm.
plonk him down with the murder of the journalist is one thing, but his family situation is another, and they intersect, and it's all horrible. It's so horrible.
Yeah. It's very dystopian. And what makes it even worse is that it's not imaginary. It's
Right.
not dystopian in the sense that books like Hunger Games are, which is completely made up and everything. This is even worse because this is reality and these things do happen. And honor killings are not exactly some sort of like shocker that happens once every 150 years. It's unfortunately one of those things that you read about and you're absolutely horrified by it, but also it happens. So I think it's in some ways these kind of movies are even worse than the truly fantastical dystopian movies that people see. And I especially feel so bad for Seth's character in this movie because it's like he's a person who clearly has moral fiber and who's clearly a decent human being, and he's married to a person who's also a decent human being, and they want to raise their child decently, but
Yeah.
the society around them, the entire structure around them is so bad. And one thing that I found very realistic is that you don't really see him being some sort of like flag waving revolutionary or radical. He very much accepts that this is a reality of the society he lives in. And there's a scene I loved where I think my favorite scene in this movie was when Saif and his wife are up on the chat, the terrace, and they're talking about his day and everything that's happened. And she makes some comment about, we've heard of so many things like honor killings happening to other youngsters from our village and neighboring villages, and we just never really stepped in or did anything about it. But now that it's our own home, we're we're feeling it. And he just kind of nods, which gives you the sense that none of these things are new, none of these things are shocking. They specifically don't do them, but they are fully aware of the milieu that they abide, and until then they've just tried to like compartmentalize it, and now it's gotten so close to them that they can't compartmentalize it
Right.
anymore. And I liked that because I feel like so many times when Hindi cinema does noir or when they do thrillers, there is a tendency to have a protagonist who is noble and decent, and he's always shocked in some way
Yeah.
about how the world around him is. And I'm like, did you not study past the fourth grade? Do you not read the
Yeah.
paper? Like, how are you so stupid? Right. But the fact that these people are not naive, I just felt like that was respectful to the audience at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on the whole, I personally enjoyed this movie. I'm not saying that it was an easy watch, obviously it wasn't. And I'm not also saying that it's like a really fabulous film that everyone should be seeing. I don't think it's like that great, but I really enjoyed Seth in it.
Yes.
And if someone asked me like, "Hey, Pitu, this movie called Kartavya came out on Netflix, should I watch it?" My answer would be very dependent on, are you a Saif fan or not? So if someone
Mm.
tells me they are a Saif Ali Khan fan, my next question would be almost like a flow chart. I would be like, "Are
Right.
you a Saif Ali Khan fan? No, okay, then don't watch it. Are you a fan? Yes. Then the next question is, which flavor of Saif do you enjoy? Because if you are the Kal Ho Na Ho Salam Namaste Saif, that fan, the Dil Chahta Hai Saif fan, then this is not for you. So then the answer is no. But if you enjoyed Sartaj Singh from Sacred Games,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
I thought
like
about Sacred
that
Games a
Saif,
lot. Yeah.
right? It was so Sacred Games to me.
Yeah.
And then also, if you like Langra Tyagi from Omkara, I
Yeah.
understand that he's the antagonist and not the protagonist, but like that
Yeah.
kind of hinterland. If you liked Sartaj Singh and Langra Tyagi, then again, yes, then the flowchart comes back to yes, you should give this a shot. Is this as good as Omkara? Obviously not,
No.
but if you like Saif doing these kind of things, then you're going to like it. I thought his performance was awesome. I
Yeah, I
think he
agree.
did very well given the material he was given.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was very pleased with him.
Mhm.
I also have to say that because we are superficial ladies, I very much enjoyed his moustache. And at one point, I WhatsApp Beth. I was like, okay, so the moustache, it's working for me. Is it working for you? And she was like, it's working for me. And I was like, oh, okay. We have agreement on this matter.
It's not what
And
I would choose for him, but given that it was there, it was doing a good job, I thought.
yes, it's like Shahrukh and Paheli. Do we
Sure.
choose Shahrukh in a mustache? No, we don't. But Shahrukh and Paheli with a mustache, we'll take it,
Yes.
and we'll enjoy it. I also enjoyed his fashions.
Oh, yes.
Um, right? Like, obviously, I love a man in a varti, so that was very good for me. Him in his khakis was great. But I also did enjoy him in his very Rishi Kapoor coded sweaters.
Yes. A
I
lot of
like
sweaters in
this.
this movie.
It was very cute. I almost there was a part of me with that wish that there was like a homely scene where he's helping his wife make chutney or she's helping him like darken his roots with hair dye or something, because there was something very sweet and homely
Yeah.
about how he was with his wife. And so I enjoyed those bits as well. And I have to say, like, he is such a well-spoken, well, sometimes person, and he's so eloquent and things like that. Well, again, sometimes. But I really enjoy Seth with a rustic accent. I
Uh,
don't know what it is.
yeah,
It's
because
very
you don't,
enjoyable.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
what you know him for.
it's
Yeah.
very enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, wait, where is this movie set? What is this accent? Like, it just sounded generic North Indian to me. And then it was like Haryanvi. So I was like, okay, I enjoy this. So I think this is a treat for Saif Ali Khan fans.
Mm.
For everybody else, it just really depends on your appetite for dire things.
I would like to follow up one point about the fashions because
Oh,
there's quite a bit relatively made about the fact that he loves white sneakers.
yes,
And he has many pairs, and people give them to him for his birthday.
including his
And
son.
yeah, and so we see him receive multiple pairs of white sneakers for his birthday at the opening of the film. What do you think that's about?
I thought about that because the only other time I've heard anyone make a big deal about sneakers and shoes and shoe cabinets was when I saw Gully Boy.
Hmm.
And there's Siddhant Chaturvedi's, little shoe cabinet that my aunt was so taken with for some strange reason. Um, and they were making this point so much that I definitely think that it was supposed to symbolize something important. And my guess was that if you think about where they live, like how
Yeah,
dusty it is and
yeah,
stuff, and also his job, like he's not like an
yeah,
office worker, I think white shoes are so impractical.
yeah,
Like sneakers is not impractical, but
right.
like maybe buy black sneakers or gray sneakers, but to have white sneakers in that area, I mean, it's just like either it means that you're this very high maintenance person that is going to spend forever cleaning those sneakers, or let's be realistic, your wife is going to spend all the time doing that, or it means that there is a part of you that cares about maintaining things no matter how
Mm,
inconvenient and difficult it is.
mm,
Like you're making choices to do things a certain way, even if it's kind of like everything I own that's silk, I hand wash it
right.
because I don't want to pay for dry cleaning, but I also am not going to throw it in the washing machine. But that's a choice I'm making. I know it's a chore and it's like
Yes.
a pain in the ass, but it's worth it to me. So
Yeah.
I think that that was also kind of making a comment about his morality. Like he's trying to maintain his moral core
Mhm.
and maintain the decent human he is in a sea of toxic masculinity. And is he succeeding? I don't know, but he's trying at least. So that's what it said to me. Did it say something similar to you or
I
different?
like your interpretation better than mine, which was white as loss of innocence. You know,
Mm,
the white shoes being a mark of someone who has a degree of innocence in some way, even though he is a 40-year-old adult who's a police officer. So like he's seen some things.
Right.
And as the film goes on, we see that he grew up in the house he grew up in, and we learn quite a bit about certain aspects of that. And there's nobody in that house who gets to wear white shoes, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after what question I have about this is, and I will never watch this film again. I don't think
Right. No.
it's too rough. But if I were to, I would want to know at what point we don't see the white shoes anymore. Like, do they map to a loss of innocence for the character about things that are going on?
I remember the one shot where they cut to we see his feet
Yeah,
and he's walking down that corridor
outside the
to
police
meet his
station. Yeah,
superior
yeah,
at the police station, and he's wearing those like brown
brown.
leather shoes that policemen
Mhm.
have to wear. So I thought that was very
Yeah,
interesting, that shot, because it's kind of like, well, now you gotta report to your officer and he's not gonna be pleased about what just happened. So,
yeah,
you know, because he's getting it from both ends, isn't he?
yeah. He
Like
really
on a
is.
professional level, everyone around him is corrupt and he's trying to keep his head above water. And on a personal level, everyone around him is corrupt and he's trying to keep his head above water. Like this guy has no, essentially, he has no allies. I mean, maybe his only ally is his wife, who at least is as morally decent as he is. And I guess his kid, but that's about it. We don't see him have any friends in this movie. The one maybe friendly banter situation he has with his deputy, which we will get into that a little bit later because that goes into spoiler territory. I mean, it really feels like this man's inner world is very contained to it's his wife and his kid. That's it. Like they are
Yeah.
kind of the keepers of his conscience, right?
Hmm.
Which has to be such a lonely way to live.
Yeah. Well, think about her.
I know. I felt like she was underutilized because Rasika Duggal is so talented.
I kept, when I was Googling this film, it would say co-stars her. I was like, she does not co-star in this movie.
No.
She's barely there. It's
Yeah.
not her fault. Like, it's written that
Right.
this woman has no presence
Hmm.
basically at all. So I think calling her a co-star is incorrect.
Yeah, it's kind of like when we were watching Toaster,
Yeah.
and at first we were like, "Yay, Sanya Malhotra!" and we were like, "Yay,
But
Sanya
where?
Malhotra!" Like, what
Right.
did what did you even give her to do? You could have
Yeah.
cast anybody. It was like that. I mean, what little scenes she had with him, I enjoyed them.
Uh-huh.
I like the fact, but I just wish she had a little bit more to do.
Yeah.
But some of the scenes, like especially her scenes with her brother-in-law and his wife, I thought those scenes were so sweet. Again, like the one voice of reason, the one decent human being, apart from Saif's own character. I just, she was lovely,
Yeah.
but she's as trapped as he is. It was terrible.
Yeah. Should we go into some spoilery territory
Sure.
at this point? Okay, so yeah, please do. If you think you want to watch this and remain unspoiled, please avoid Yar for the rest of this, and please come back and see us another time.
Remain unspoiled being a pun.
Yeah, so um, let's do spoilers up until like the last 10 minutes and then
Mm,
those spoilers, because also the internet is referring to this as a twist ending. I did not see this as a twist, but it is very interesting. So
yeah.
up into about the last 10 minutes. So my cry to Pitu that that oh no, is that Seth's friend junior in the police force and kind of a friend.
Yeah.
Sanjay Mishra is in fact taking information and tasks that Seth gives him and feeding them to the bad guru primarily.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad guru is a child molester and child trafficker,
Mm-hmm.
among and probably has financial misdealings, which I don't doesn't even ping based on
Right.
how bad he is. And he has a 14-year-old boy murder the journalist.
I know.
And this boy was given to him by his own father, who is a high school principal, they say. So
Mm-hmm.
works with children. And he tells Seth, we were never able to have children. We started seeing the guru. He blessed us. We had a son, but the price was we had to give the son to the guru when the son turns 10. And he did this willingly.
You know what it made me think of? Literally, it made me think of Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, wait, that's Rumpelstiltskin.
In the worst possible way.
Yes.
So the actor who plays this little boy is very good.
He's
Very
amazing. I
good.
loved
And
him.
the look of despair on this child's face in so many different ways is really moving. And the subtitles, I thought you would not have had them on since this is on Netflix and you could turn them off. I assume that they said sobbing a lot for the boy, but I feel like they needed to up their vocabulary for synonyms of crying in a despondent
Yeah.
way because it was, there were wails and there were,
Yeah.
this poor child who you can probably guess is not going to make it out of this alive, and he does not.
Yeah. It was terrible. Like every time he came on screen, he reminded me of sort of the urchins we've seen in Lion
Yeah.
or Slumdog Millionaire or Salam Bombay, and it's always hard to see. Like I'm one of those people, like, you can do all the bad things to like adults in movies, but anytime you come for the kids or you come for like the dog, like I can't take it no more. And it was kind of like that. I was like, please God, no. And his acting was so amazing. Like his
He was
face was
really
so
good.
expressive, and this poor little child like sitting at this chai ki tapri and his like little scrawny bony little fingers. And so he says, I have to make a phone call, and the guy just goes, yeah, it's 5 rupees. And I'm like, let him make a phone call, you're so
I
freaking
know.
greedy. And he just like fishes it out. Oh, it was terrible. Every time I saw him, it was like a dagger to the heart. And when Seth kind of is like, sort of taking charge of him in a way, I was like, yes, thank God, the one decent human being in this movie, who also, by the way, happens to be a father. Not that you have to be a parent to care
Yeah.
about the plight of a child, but I was like, okay, he at least knows how
Yeah.
to handle kids and things like that.
Right.
And then when Sanjay Mishra is like, oh, I'll drop him off, he's like, will you? I was like, are you stupid? Seriously, are you
The
stupid?
moment
I
that
don't care if
phone
he's your
went
friend.
to said it was disconnected, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
And I held out hope that Sanjay Mishra had somehow been ambushed and forced to give over the boy, but he does it willingly. He
I know.
has a rendezvous planned, and they murder the boy in cold blood, and it's just
Yeah.
terrible. This actor's name is Yudvir Alawat. He
Yes.
deserves mention. He's delightful. He's really, really good.
I wonder if he's related to Jaideep Ahlavat.
I wondered that too. I don't see that on IMDb, but I don't know.
Okay.
He's
But
very
yeah, it was, but I
sad.
think that was the main scene in this movie where I was like screaming at the television, because
Yeah.
the moment where Sanjay Mishra is like, oh, I'll take care of it, you don't have to worry about it. And I was like, no, Saif, you're gonna do this. Like, and Saif was like, you will. And I was like, were you born yesterday? Why are you trusting this man? Like, I know he's your friend or whatever, but it was just so frustrating to watch. And then the ambush scene, like when they get the boy, I mean, that was really, really horrible. It was really
We've
rough.
seen scenes like this before in other films, right? But it's adults, and the
Yeah.
fact that it's a child is just
Yeah.
gut-wrenching,
Hmm.
which is one of the reasons I will never watch this film again. And I
Yeah.
can't exactly recommend that people do, but I do think there are a lot of well-made things about it.
Yeah. Sanjay Mishra, I want to say
Mhm.
I despised his character so much.
Oh
I
yeah,
wanted to reach into the TV and throttle him,
so
but
good.
I think his acting was amazing.
Amazing.
He was such a weasel.
Yeah.
He was so like snivelly and two-faced, and he was so like nicey nice and warm and friendly and all like, oh my God, I care about you, to Seth's face. And then just such a horrible, nasty person. And I never even really understood what he got out of this. I mean, was it all just like devotion to the unholy godman? Because it didn't seem like he was going to get any sort of like financial payback or anything. It was literally just like, oh, because this guy wants it. And I was like, man, you have no conscience, you're a terrible human being.
I assume that, and I assume the guru threatens him, right? Threatens his family or something like
Right.
that. And he's also, in cahoots with the higher up police commissioner who I
Yes.
so I don't know if there were job threats if he didn't.
Yeah. Because I mean, the police commissioner or whatever his title is, Seth's boss. I mean, he's a terrible person too. I really feel for Seth's character in this movie, and I think there's so many scenes where he's just trying to hold it together, but he knows he's fighting a fight he's going to lose. And that's so sad. I did enjoy his scenes where he exploded on them, because it kind of like gave me some amount of catharsis.
I know. And I would have to think about it. I'm not so I loved the first season of Sacred Games, and I
Mm,
disliked the second season so much that I didn't even finish it.
mm,
And I did rewatch Omkara a few years ago, but I'm not sure I remember Seth exploding in this way before. And it was really a treat to see, and also, as you say, cathartic. But like, even as just as an appreciator of him as an actor, I was like, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because he's the only one in this movie that we can relate to, right? Like, there's no one else that you can. Obviously, you're not going to relate to any of the heinous people, but
No,
you also can't really relate to any of the victimized people. So he's kind of the only one that you're kind of pinning all of your hopes on. Very
The one
sad.
the one question I have about his character really that
Mm.
didn't track to me is that the his boss at one point makes a statement about, for 8 years I've been
Protecting
um,
you.
protecting you from transfer orders. I'm like, the best thing in the world would be to move away from this place. That would be the absolute best choice you could make.
Right.
And I think I'm not sure how he either knows it and doesn't do it, or he doesn't agree that that's true. And it's his life, but this fictional
Yeah.
person can make his own fictional choices. But it just seems like so much in your life would be better if you would move, wouldn't it?
It would, but I think he's also shown as a person who is very like duty bound. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, it's
Yeah.
the name of the movie is
Yeah.
Kartavya.
Yeah.
So I think especially like being the older son, and given that he's like this person from like a tiny little village called Jamli in Haryana. I have no idea where that is. I would have to, I think the idea of moving away from his elderly father and his younger brother, I think would be completely unacceptable to him, right? Because if he's this like very old fashioned person and he's going to believe that I need to take care of my dad when he's old, as heinous as his dad is. But also, I don't know if he knows how heinous his dad is. Like, it
Yeah. I
seemed
don't
like
think
a
he
lot
does.
of that.
Yeah.
Right. I
Or at least
remember
he
us.
la 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 does not want to know.
Well, it's like the conversation we had when we were talking about Sairat,
Right.
where she's like, my parents are wonderful people. I'm like, no. But also, she's 17 or
Yeah.
18. He's
Yeah.
40. But, people do have their delusions. Or it could even be his thinking, well, if I leave, then my younger brother is going to be
I
stuck in
wondered
this
about that.
horrible place.
Yeah.
So I do think he's like duty bound. And I think perhaps if he didn't have roots and ties there, if he didn't have a father and a brother, perhaps he would have actually loved being able to transfer out, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if, I don't know, he wouldn't want to, I guess. I think he's just like a very duty bound person, and I get the sense that that's how his wife is too.
Hmm.
Because there's scenes like, remember when his dad is all like grumpy and terrible, and then Rasika keeps telling him to go give tea to his father to like try to break the ice a little bit, and he's willing to give up, and he's turning back, and she looks at him and like glares, and he's like ugh, and then he goes back to give the tea. So she's definitely the one that's trying to like maintain this household of like four men, her father-in-law, her husband, her brother-in-law, and her kid. Like, she's the one woman in this house of toxic masculinity in freaking Haryana, and she's trying to like keep it together, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel for her.
Should we go full spoiler now
Sure.
for the end? This movie has an amazing ending. It is the Mother India in
It
reverse,
is the
and
Mother
Steph
India.
shoots his father,
I
and
was
that
so happy.
is the correct course of action. And I was yelling at the screen, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. I've never seen, so I don't think this is a twist because
No.
I think it's consistent with what we see, the learning and growing we see this
Yeah.
person do. And so to me, this is not a twist, even though if it is sort of in the realm of popular Hindi cinema, it is highly
Mm.
unusual. I'm not sure I've ever seen a character kill their own father
I was trying to think about that.
before, especially a
I
father that in theory that they like grew up with and are not estranged from. They should be.
Right.
He's horrible, but like, this is not like, oops, Amjad Khan is my dad,
Right.
this is. So I really appreciated that they took this to the limit.
Mhm.
However, as that was happening, I was thinking, I would love it if I'm going to be the only person to talk about this film and Audre Lorde at the same time, because I kept thinking of Audre Lorde, the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house.
Mhm.
So the ways of the panchayat and this guy and their honor killing, is it walla nightmare toxic masculinity bullshit,
Yeah.
is shooting them the only way out. And I don't know, because in general it isn't, but in this specific case it might be. But I just kept thinking about, is this the only thing you could have done? And it probably is.
I would agree. I mean, I think that's also why we all know in theory that things like police encounters are bad. We get it. We
Hmm.
don't have to be told police encounters are bad.
Hmm.
But sometimes you watch a movie and there's a police encounter and it's like, yes, thank you very much. I'm glad you did that. You did the public service because the wheels of justice are too slow. And
Right.
also,
And they are
eh,
corrupt in this, because
yes,
that any fight, because Seth does make a big, there's a lot of dialogue about, I'm filing the paperwork, I have this
yes.
document, I have this recording, whatever, but because his head is corrupt and in the pocket of the guru, this is never going to happen.
I mean, I
Although
think
he does go to
that's,
the courts, so that's good. We see him at the courts, so at least there's that. But
yeah, but you don't know if the judge is in their pockets either,
right,
right?
yeah, no,
Like,
we don't
yeah.
know.
I
Yeah,
mean, I think sometimes I do think that this is one of the things about getting older is that when you're younger, you believe in things like justice and law and order and stuff like that. And I do think that
yeah,
you get older and you get jaded and you're
yeah,
like, I don't know if I believe in any of that shit anymore. Like, I love the fact that it's 2026. Epstein has been dead for a while and nobody's in jail. I love that
yeah,
for us.
yeah. It's
And I
great.
love that all the women who have come forward and have, accused, they have never received an ounce of justice, a shred of justice, and they're never going to get any justice. Now, if you were young and naive, you would believe that some good will come of this. But if you're old and jaded like I'm, you're not going to believe that. So at this point, it's like, do what you got to do,
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a very satisfyingly burn it all down
It
kind
really was.
of film. I have to imagine that he, after the end of the film, he's going to go to the guru's ashram and
I
lay with
hope.
a couple people there too.
Unfortunately, this also means that he will be shot dead too.
Yeah.
We're no longer going to get, he's not going to get a hero's
No.
departure after doing all these
I
all
mean,
these
I'm hopeful that
things.
he can go home, scoop up his wife and kid, and just go.
Like,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they'll track him down. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
I
not if he doesn't secretly call his mom with pictures of the kid, like in Sairat.
yeah.
Just cut your losses and go. Because also, what's still tying him there? His his brother is dead. His mother, I assume, is dead. We never see her.
Yeah.
Um,
That scene though, Beth, I mean, I have watched a lot of really terrible things because my appetite for terrible things is pretty high. Um, but that scene where Sanjay Mishra basically told him how his brother died, that was horrible.
yeah,
Because I knew that the young boy was gonna die. I saw it coming,
yeah,
especially when Sajid Mishra said, "I'll take care of it. You don't worry." I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is not gonna end well." So I was like mentally prepared for it. I was like, "He's gonna die, Pitu. It's okay. Calm down. It's okay. It's fiction, you know." But then when he says, "Well, my brother got away," something to that effect, and then Sajid Mishra is like, "No, he didn't. He's dead. And you know who killed him? Your dad did. And you know how he killed him?" And he basically is like, they slit his throat, and then they show us the scene of this boy opening the door and his face is just falls when he sees the people at the door. And I was like, I did not actually see that coming. I was hoping beyond hope that they did manage to get away, and then I assumed that at some point they would be tracked down and killed, but at least at that time it wasn't. And I think that's what makes Saif go full
yeah.
blown
I think so too.
rage, fury.
Yeah, yeah.
Terrible.
He was very, very good in this role. I mean, everybody was really good in this movie. The men who were disgusting were very disgusting.
Yes.
A lot of disgustingness in the movie. The child who was tormented. Sorry to make that a statement, but it was
Yeah.
very, and the wide-eyed sister-in-law who has just married Seth's brother,
Who shares my name? Her name was Preeti. I was like, oh, poor Preeti.
oh, pretty.
Hmm. And then, oh my God, that scene where the little boy and Rasika Dukal and she's talking to Seth in his room. And then the little boy is like, well, I know what happens to them because I went to the panchayat, and he's so pissed with his dad for taking his kid to the panchayat. And I was like, oh my God, that was a moment where I was like, I know you're like the duty bound, obedient older son and you want to live with your father, especially in his old age or whatever. But dude, you got to get out of here before your kid gets completely destroyed. Terrible. So
It really
sad.
was. It really was unbelievably horrible.
Yeah.
I
So
almost
bad.
don't know what else to say about this film.
I don't either.
I would like to go read some of the reviews about it now because now that we,
Yeah.
had our say.
I read a few, and it seemed like it was actually fairly consistent with the stuff we said.
Mm,
A lot of people felt that it was like a timely topic, and Seth's performance was widely praised as well. And people praised Sanjay Mishra as well. And most people just felt like it was predictable. And, because I mean, to me, that was not a twist either. I was like, he's going to kill his dad, you know. but mostly people just felt like they felt like the writing needed to be a little more taut,
Mhm.
and that the end was perhaps predictable. But I don't have really a problem
Interesting,
with the
right?
end being
Like,
predictable because I found the end cathartic.
yeah, and I don't think I found the end predictable, but I think I found it logical based on what they were. It was consistent with what they were laying out.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny
Because
how,
this character is not one who's going to let this go.
right, right. He loves his white shoes and he sticks to them, so he's going to stick
Yeah.
to his. In retrospect, when I look at the poster of the film, that's him lighting his dad's funeral pyre, right? So, like, the poster is actually a
Yeah.
spoiler.
I didn't even think about that. Is
Yeah,
that what it is? Yeah,
yeah,
because we don't actually see him. Oh, that's dire.
right. Because he's on that
That's,
same night out in the countryside, he deals with
yeah.
those bodies.
Oh shit. I
And
didn't even
he's
think about
killed
that.
Sanjay Mishra, at least one of the Guru's goons, I think two,
Yes.
right? And his dad. He's
Yeah.
killed four people. So he's got a big fire.
Yeah. I found it interesting the conversation that like he brings it up multiple times. He talks about the Mahabharat, and he talks about
Yeah.
Abhimanyu and all of that. He talks about the difference between dharma and karma, like and how it's really difficult to be able to do both of those things, which is true, and especially true if you are in his line of work. But that's got to be hard. I mean, yeah, it was just
Yeah.
really sad. But I do think I do appreciate every time movies with these sort of topics come out, even though they are difficult to watch, because it's not gone away. That's the thing.
No.
This is not fantasy and it's not fiction. And right now in India, there's still like a lot going on about, not, this is not about honor killings, but there was that woman, I forget her name, that she committed suicide, and they think it's because of like dowry demands and stuff, and her mother-in-law is a judge. And I was watching Barkhadat's interview of this woman, and the woman, it just, oh my god, she seems sociopathic, the mother-in-law. She's just so cool and chill and unruffled, and you can see that Barkhadat is like really really upset, and she's really asking some very pointed questions, and this mother-in-law just does not seem to give a shit that her young daughter-in-law basically killed herself. Like all these WhatsApp chats were released where she was WhatsApping her friends and family about how she was being tortured by her husband and mother-in-law. And all of India right now is in this huge uproar because of what's happened. I think it happened in Noida, and there was another case that happened in Bhopal.
Mm.
And so I just sometimes wonder, like, these kind of movies, do they move the needle?
I don't know.
Because I don't know either. Because obviously we feel a certain way, but we always felt a certain way. And it's like you're kind of preaching to the choir when you tell Beth and Pitu not to do, like, we're not out there doing honor killings anyway. We have no problem with people marrying the people they love.
Yeah.
But the people who do, to what extent does it, I don't know.
And
It's such a systemic problem.
putting someone like Seth in it, what does that do? Because he's the 1% of the 1%. Like, this is not exactly a hero of the people. This
Right.
actor, right? Like, I don't know who Seth's fan base is exactly, but like, not that I wish Salman Khan to be in this movie, but someone with his fan base,
Mm,
that might actually be more productive in a way. But we've also seen
right.
Salman beat up men who treat women badly. Don't know if that helps any or not, right?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I do think it does do what you said, which is some catharsis for those of us who are horrified by this kind of thing. So
Yeah.
um
I wish there was some sort
yeah.
of like media studies where they've shown, like, when you do movies on hard hitting subjects like this, like, does it actually move the needle or not? Or is it just an exercise in
Well, we
futility?
talked
I don't
about that
know.
a little bit with Sairat, and that
Yeah,
this is what year was that movie? 2017,
I think
16.
so.
So this is approximately 10 years later, and it's a very similar 2016. So this is 10 years
Mm,
later. Has anything changed? I don't know. And we'd have to
right.
ask all the NGOs who are on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ground and, working with, have
yeah.
actual information because of
Or
course.
there's that movie I watched, Love Hostel,
Right,
which had Bobby Deol and Sunny Malhotra in it.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so lasting thoughts. Would you recommend this movie to people to watch?
Um, with the reservation of this is a very hard topic, a set of topics.
Yes.
It's a rough watch, but I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with the writing. I don't have an issue with
Mm,
anything other than the fact that these stories are real enough.
right.
I'm sorry that this has to exist, or that
Mm,
there's material for this to exist from. You know what I mean?
right.
But as a film, I thought it was quite successful.
Yeah. Is there anything you would have changed about the movie to make it better, perhaps?
I don't think so, because even though, Rasika has nothing to do,
Mm,
that sounds right for this world, right?
that's true.
So, um,
Like, you don't see that character as much as I would have loved it. You don't really see
no.
that character is never going to stand up to her father-in-law
And
and
like,
say
there's no
things
woman
like,
on the police force here, because of
yeah,
course,
no. I feel like Rasika is the only woman we even see in this movie. Did we? Well, except for that journalist at the
well, the
beginning.
sister-in-law,
Oh, yes. Preeti,
Preeti,
my
poor Preeti.
namesake.
But that's it. I think those
Yeah.
are the only three women, and one of them is immediately shot. So,
Yep.
uh, uh,
Okay, so since you made me watch Toaster and now I made you watch Kartavya, does this mean that we are like
we're good. We're good. No more 2026 films for us.
okay, perfect. So I think that concludes this episode. If you guys have watched Kartavya on Netflix, let us know what you think. Between Sartaj Singh and this SHO Pavan, who is your favorite Saif Ali Khan? Do you want to see more Saif as cop movies? Because I really like him as a cop. I think he has that perfect character for it. And if not, who would you have cast in this movie?
Yeah.
Let us know.
I
I really liked him cast in this movie. I don't
I
know if I would. I don't know if I would recast him.
No, I don't need anyone else to have done this. I thought this was
Mm.
quite well done. Um,
Also, to be honest, I only really wanted to watch it because it had Seth in it.
right. I don't think I
So
would have touched this.
yeah,
And despite the fact that like Netflix did not advertise this movie to me,
no,
like the algorithm is not as good as as we fear it may be sometimes.
no.
What I would like to say is that if you need a Seth chaser with something a little more light, our friends at Kandan are doing an episode on Ye Dilagi, so
What?
you could also revisit ours. But I'm like, ole ole, let's
Right.
I'm glad Seth has this in his repertoire. I will need to cleanse my palate a little bit.
You should go on YouTube immediately and watch My Adorable Darling.
Right, I should.
Yeah, because this movie made you mad, and now My Adorable Darling will make you not mad.
Call me
So.
back.
All right. Well, that concludes this episode of Filmy Ladies. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye.